Hey, Tony Gassens here, popping in. Little video. Now, listen, want to talk to you about just what I'm perceiving as a man today. And there's a lot of men. I posted a video on Instagram Reels, and it's always a few men come in the comments and be upset. You never really see, I rarely see men in support, and that's just, it goes to show the stubbornness of men. Like, and I get it because I'll see something that's talking some real truth to men, and I don't support it either. Like, I don't comment, or I may hit the like button, or I may not hit the like button. It's just, one thing about men is men learn in the dark, men grow in the dark, men celebrate in the dark, men cry in the dark. Just men don't have an open space to express emotion. Now, the men who come in the comments to disagree, when I was talking about a lot of single men are single because they want a woman to look up to them, and they want a woman to learn from them, and they want to be the prize. And some men can't handle that truth, and what'll happen is they may have a woman and may be talking and treating that woman like that, or have said that very thing to that woman, and knows that that woman follows me or is gonna see that, or the woman sent it to them, and so they go to state their claim and make their point in the comment, because women know men don't typically do that. So if he does that, then it sends a message to her that, oh, he really means this, and he really standing on this, for him to go as far to comment in another man's, on another man's post. This must really be true for him, and he must really mean this. And so that's typically why a man will comment. But today, what we have is, we have a lot of men, and especially to the single women, a lot of men today is, I'm trying to find a word for it, because I don't prepare my videos like that and write out bullet points and all of those things, and because I really want this to be authentic and real. But the men today are, if I could put it in biblical terms, lovers of selves. We are under this spiritual moving right now. And when I say spiritual moving, I don't mean a good spirit. I mean a toxic spirit, that the adversary is moving spiritually to make men lovers of ourselves, where we are really smelling ourselves, we really feeling ourselves, and it's really going to our head about who we are and what we bring to the table, and our earning potential, our mindset, our heart, our emotional makeup, our knack for protecting and providing. It's really, whereas men used to do these things without thought, without needing praise, without needing thanks, and just like woke up and did it. Now we are in a very prima donna state of mind, where men really want to be celebrated to the point. I saw one post say it's a lot of men that want to be treated like a lady. And that is the truth. And one of the things is, men are tapping more into their feminine, because a lot of men are getting tapped in their booty. And what I mean by that is, porn has been so prevalent over the last couple decades, and it's becoming more and more prevalent, and so many men are giving into pornography and giving into lust, that lust is turning into a deviation, and men are becoming more promiscuous and more lustful, and men are feeling more frisky. So that's why you see men with their back out in certain shirts, with their chest out in certain shirts. Men, even thugs, wearing skin tight jeans. Men wearing women's jewelry. They now are giving us women's shoes. Chanel makes shoes for women. Now they making it for men. I got a pair of them. My wife got them for me because they were in the men's section. Men wearing the same jewelry that a lot of women have made popular, like the Van Cleef Arpels. Muscular macho men are wearing these clovers as necklaces, as bracelets. The love bracelets that were typically known for women, men are wearing the love bracelets and by Cartier. It's just like men are tapping more into femininity and unisex movements. And so the masculinity of a man that wants to be a husband and wants to protect and provide and wants to lead and be chivalrous is now kind of sitting down at the table and renegotiating and saying, hey, I'll do this for you, you do this for me. I'm gonna treat you like this type of lady and you treat me like this type of man. But really it's becoming such a bargain and such a negotiation and such a power struggle that men are not just locking in and getting married and having children for the sake of procreating and moving the ball down the field, like moving your lineage, your race, your culture, like moving it forward by adding your contribution to the world, whether it's your one child or two children or three or four or how many ever. It's like men are focusing more on money, and also the landscape with women are changing, so men are becoming more and more gun shy and shell shocked and afraid of rejection. Men are trying to figure out a way of how to compete with female industries because the male industries don't necessarily compute the same as it relates to money. So a woman is able now to be an esthetician or, do lashes or brows and kill it compared to what a barber makes. A woman's t-shirt line will kill it compared to a men's t-shirt line. If a woman becomes an entrepreneur, because women are typically the ones spending the money for the household, buying the grocery, buying the clothes, buying the household supplies, making sure the bills are paid. Even if the man is making the money, a lot of times the women actually pay the bills. In some cases, men are very, financially astute and they want to make the money or manage the money or pay the bills. In my household, I earn the money and my wife is what they call a homemaker. She's a stay-at-home wife, but she pays the bills, meaning she sends the actual payment to the lights and to the water. I pay the car notes because cars are my thing. So I pay the cars and she take care of all the household bills. And so that's just how we do it. All the money that I earn, it goes majority of it into a joint account. So when I'm paying myself, I'm paying to a joint account. And then my wife could transfer to her personal account from there if she needs to make transactions or do some moves that she don't want me to see, in the sense of buying for my birthday or it's like a surprise or Christmas. And then I make transfers to my account if I need to make some moves out of my personal account. So we have a joint pot. It goes to her, stuff goes to me. And so that's how we do it. Different couples do it different ways, to each their own. But today, single men, there's such a hang up around finances, and men are so afraid to come in and not know how to love a woman because they didn't see a man love their mother. And men, we learn by example. So when you have men not learning by example, and that's where I have an unfair advantage in what I do, and that's why I can't really compare myself to most men, because for one, I was raised in a home with my father. So I got to see marriage, and I got to see a happy, healthy marriage. and I got to see them coexist. They eventually got a divorce when I was around 20 or 21, but for the 12 years, the first 6 years they were just normal couple, have arguments and stuff, had their little fights. But then after that, they got in the church, and I really didn't see them fight anymore from the age of 6 through 18 when I left to go to college. And then they got a divorce around, I think, 20. But I got to see a functioning marriage, so that made me want to be married growing up. So around 16, I was looking for a wife. I was marriage minded from the age of 16 when I started dating. Most men are not that way, especially not men of color or minority black men. And then I got into an industry of teaching on love and relationships. So every single day I'm talking on love and relationships, so that helps hold me accountable. I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, and I still have to learn how to love and learn how to be in a relationship. I still have to learn those things. And even today, I'm still learning and I'm still growing, going on 16 years of marriage. But the fact that I deal in it every day gives me an unfair advantage, whereas most men may deal with nothing that relates to a relationship outside of their actual relationship. So therefore, they aren't in a place where they are forced to be introspective and evaluate themselves and grow in a relationship as a man. And today, there's so many men that I really see it as fear. I feel like men are operating from fear. They're afraid because there's so many voices online, they're afraid to love a woman and the woman not love them back. They're afraid to give their all to a woman, but then slip up and cheat on this woman, and then the woman leave them and they lose half of what they've earned. And they're afraid to lock in with one woman because they fear she won't be their everything, and they don't want to be faithful to one woman who can't be everything. And it's really and that also is a love of self. It's selfishness, because that is a sacrifice in marriage. So in marriage, especially when you have kids, you're procreating, you're moving the ball down the field, you're trying to get you a touchdown for your lineage, for your legacy, for your last name. When you do that, your woman is going to be an amazing wife, or she's going to be an amazing mother. And very rarely will a woman be both. Very rarely will a man be an amazing husband and an amazing father. Very rarely will a man be an amazing provider and an amazing husband or an amazing father. As humans, we struggle being 100 in multiple different areas. And so when you think about these areas, you got being a spouse, being a parent, and then being a worker, whether that's a business owner or whether you work in a job or a career for something that you don't own. And so it's extremely hard for me to be at 100 in my work and then be at 100 with my wife and at 100 with my kids. So what it may look like is, if I'm 100 with my wife and 100 with my kids, or if I'm 100 with my wife, I might be 90 or 80 with my kids, because I may want to spend more time with her than playing soccer with my sons. And if I'm 100 with my kids, I may be 80 or 90 with my wife. And if I'm 100 in my business, then I almost have to choose if I'm going to be 100 with my wife or 100 with my kids. And that's just life, and it's not something that we should frown upon. It's not something and that's why people say balance doesn't exist. because it's nearly impossible to be 100 in multiple different arenas. Now, people will mislabel and say they are 100, but they aren't the recipient of themselves. So I can say I'm 100 with my kids, and my oldest son told me the other day when my youngest son was coming to ask me, do I want to play soccer? He said when he got close to the door, he was like, he's probably going to say no. Because a few times ago, he come and asked me, and I was like, no, son, I don't feel like I'm tired. And I was tired in my body, and I just wanted to sit there and just be still. But I've been gone for 2 weeks working, filming a TV show. So when I came home, I'm like, I'm going to spend time with my sons. And I want to spend time with my wife. I've been gone. So I asked my wife, hey, can we go to lunch? And since I've been home for a week or so, I've taken my wife out to eat, I think 2 times in 1 week. Because I said, I want to be there. I want to be present. And then with my sons, we played a little soccer tournament with the 3 of us, me and my 2 boys. And then the next day I took my oldest son to a speaking engagement. And then I've been taking them to practice. I take them to practice every day. Tonight I'm taking my oldest son to a football game. And I took my oldest son to an NFL game on Sunday. And tomorrow I got my youngest son soccer game, and then my youngest son flag football game. My oldest son is off tomorrow, but then Sunday I'm taking my oldest son to a ID camp for soccer where a few college coaches will be there. And my youngest son may have a football game if they make it in the playoffs. And so I say that to say this is what I call balance. And I dated my wife this week. We went out to eat and we went to the gym. We worked. She invited me to the gym. We worked out at the same time. Then after that, we went out to eat. And so this is what I call balance. Well, that scares men today. It's really, men are deathly afraid of it. And what's happening is it's unfair to women, and men don't want to hear this. It's unfair to women. Now, yes, there are a lot of women that are nutcases, but there are a lot of good women. And every human is going to be flawed. All of us have a little tinge of nutcase in us. But what I'm noticing is that men are looking for, a lot of the single men are sexually confused. So a lot of single men get along better with men than they do women, and they don't know how to relate to a woman as they do men. And a lot of the single men they adore men, and they love and relish the interaction with men and not with women. And so that's one thing that's keeping men stuck, is because they're not necessarily gay, but they are stuck in bromance. And when you're with your boys, it's so freeing because you can have boogie in your nose. You can have stank breath. You can talk about whatever. But when you with a woman, you got to be on point. You got to come correct because you're being judged. You don't feel a safe friend zone. You being judged. Protect, provide, present, all of these things. And so it makes a man tense because a woman is going to, nag, and women may not call it that, but a woman is going to say, cut your nails, clip your nose hairs, wash your face with a real face routine, mow your lawn, take out the trash, go provide, and make sure you provide enough that this other woman can't give her children a better birthday party than I could give my kids. Make sure you provide enough that my friend can't drive a better car than me or have a nicer house than me. I'm in a low-key competition with my classmate or with my coworker on who husband gonna provide the best lifestyle. And women don't realize that, and women don't admit that, and women don't even notice it, that they do it. Women don't even notice that they are going to their man and like, oh, look at this birthday party Lisa gave little Johnny. And the man look at that birthday party, and you could tell that birthday party cost $5,000, $10,000, and then as a man, the man looking like, okay. And so this is stuff that married men talking about. And when we get together as married men, this is stuff that's being talked about, just the financial pressure. And a woman may not realize that. So a single man has married friends, and married men tend to just complain. So single men are like, man, this don't look like it's worth it. And then I don't know the conversation women have, because a lot of women still want to be married. So either women don't listen to the complaints of women, or women not complaining like that. I don't know. I'm not a woman. I only speak from a male perspective. But I do know men tend to just complain about marriage. And if you talk to a man, even myself, I'm going to tell a man, take your time. Don't rush it. Now, what I mean is don't get married before 25, and possibly not before 30, unless you know that you know. But now when you pushing 35 or you pushing 40, yeah, it's time to go ahead and make some concessions and go ahead and get married, because the world needs you. We need your kids. Your kids might be the next president. Your kids might be the next mega pastor. Your kid might be the next LeBron James, or the next whoever, Ben Carson with the surgery, whoever, Albert Einstein. We need your kids, and we need your kids to be raised right. We need your kids to be in a 2-parent household, if possible, and raised right. Or if you have to be a single parent, we need you to put your best foot forward. And so that's more on where I'm at. But I do this every day, so I'm gonna have a different take than most men. And so when most men talk to another man, they gonna complain everything they don't like about their wife. But what we fail to take into consideration is that a woman is a human, and she's not perfect, just like we are not perfect. So we can point out all her flaws, but if she flipped it and pointed out all our flaws, it'll be just as bad, if not worse. And that's one thing that men seem to forget. And so men are being told, don't get married. And then we have men in the media who have a platform, like the guy, it was an actor, I don't remember his name, but he was saying that he's not going to get married, or he don't believe in relationships. And then now was another comedian who got a podcast with a couple other guys. He went on a big radio show and said that he'll never be in a relationship. And so this is like music to sore ears, because a man already don't want to be married. Like, none of us necessarily want to be married unless our daddy was married and we saw our daddy do it, then, and that's why I wanted to be married. But had I not saw my daddy do it, I wouldn't have wanted to be married, because to a man, in the way we raised and the way we taught, like, sleep around, like, get as many women as you can, because that make you more of a man. The more chicks you can have, the more of a boss you are. That's how we taught. So marriage don't make sense to nobody unless you raised that way. And that's why we see most white men are married, and we see them get married rather quickly. Like, even the pro athletes, whereas a lot of times pro athletes don't like to get married, but when you look at majority of white pro athletes, they married. It'd be the black pro athletes that's not married until 30 years old, but the white guys, they be married. They get married they senior year, junior year of college, before they turn pro. Like, even the number 1 draft picks, like a Trevor Lawrence, this man got married before going to the NFL. Like, white people are raised on family stability, and they taught, get married. Like, have you a helpmeet, have you somebody that's gonna rock with you and stand with you. All this sleeping around, strip club, sowing your wild oats, that's for the birds. Like, you lame. Like, yeah, you'll have a guy's trip once a week, get it in. But then when you get back home, lock in, it's you and your wife and your kids. And I'm going to tell you, I done hung out with the white boys. I done been out there with the white boys. When they get away from their wife, they get it in now. They do their things. All the black women that think white men don't cheat, yeah, they cheat. Yeah, they cheat. Yeah, they do their thing now. But they just limited. Most of them limited. They limited to that guy's week. They limited to that guy's weekend. They limited to that guy's night out. And they do a transaction where they paying the stripper or they paying the escort, and they ain't building no affair and changing phone numbers and having no whole relationship like a lot of black men do. The white guys, they just do it transactional. And if they in the transvestites, if they into men, if they into women, they whatever they do it transactional. It's a one night situation and they leave it there. But they imperfect just like other men. But the difference with black men is black men try to have a whole nother family and have a whole long affair, and that's eventually gonna blow up in your face. And so this is where, so the white men complain about marriage and their wife, just like the black men and the Hispanic men and the Asian men gonna complain. So the single men are hearing these complaints, and now single men are saying, I got a lot of married friends and my married friends miserable. But listen to me. I'm going to tell y'all men why your married friends miserable. Your married friends miserable because they don't want to submit and surrender as well as the woman. They want the woman to shut up, be quiet, let them move how they want to move, do what they want to do. And that woman like, no, playboy, that ain't how this work. That's not how this finna go. And so the man want to be able to watch his porn in peace, but he keep getting caught. He want to be able to talk to his ex-girlfriend in peace. He want to be able to cheat in peace. He want to be able to gamble in peace, play the video game in peace, go on guys' nights and guys' trips in peace. He want to have the best of both worlds. He want to be married and single at the same time. But because his woman ain't with that, that's upsetting him and making him mad. And now this the short end of the stick. This a bad deal. And that's why he complains about his marriage to his single friends. Because his single friends get to do what he want to do. His single friends get to make their own choices, call their own shots, get after the bag, build a brand, build a business, do their thing. And the married man have to make some concessions, got to make some sacrifices, and he get in his feelings. But when we surrender to love and we accept our responsibility as married men, marriage is a beautiful thing. And my wife was telling me about this lady who posted the other day that she was coming home. She was getting ready to go home, and she was like thinking about all she had to do. And she was like, oh man, I gotta clean the bathroom. I gotta do this and that. And then she was like, oh, well, the house cleaner came. And she was like, so I should get to go home and relax. And then when she went home to relax, she was like, wow, this is what a man gets to do. Now, yes, it's one-sided, and that's what ticks men off. It is one-sided, but I get it. Like, I work, like, this is me working. I'm working, but this is fun. So I can't really call this work. If a man loves cars and he's a mechanic and he got his boys there, they'll slip and have vodka in the water bottle, and you think it's water, but they drinking straight vodka while they fixing the car. That's why your car tore up. And they having a blast at the job. So to be honest with you, a lot of times men have fun at work with that camaraderie and that brotherhood. And then we come home, and the woman's role traditionally is to cook, to clean, and to be there with the kids. And the man get to come and be the icing on the cake. Like, let me play with the kids. But the woman is changing the dirty diapers and breastfeeding and doing homework and putting the kids down for bed. And then of course there are exceptions to the rule. Men get mad when they are an exception to the rule. And I don't mention their exception. They 1 out of 1,000 exceptions. Men get so mad. Like, I put my kid to bed. Congratulations. I don't put mine to bed. My wife do. You see what I'm saying? And so it's just different setups, and it's a lot of women that have an unrealistic idea of a relationship, but every relationship is different. So I'm a night owl. I stay up late, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and so I sleep in. So I sleep in past when the trash come. And so my wife get up 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock for sure, but sometimes she'll get up at 4 to go do cardio. So she up, my wife take the trash out. And my son, my 15-year-old, he take the trash out. So I never really take the trash out between my 15-year-old and my wife. I take the trash out if I'm going to the trash and the trash is full, and I realize, oh, this is the night, the day that the trash come tomorrow, and that's come from me traveling all the time. I would be gone on the trash day. Thursday, I would be gone, or Monday, I would be gone. So for me and our family, and just with my work schedule, my travel schedule, trash wasn't a thing for me. My wife is what we affectionately call a tomboy. She's very strong. She is feminine, but she also got a lot of masculine energy. She will beat the brakes off you. She'll beat a man up. She'll beat a woman up. She pretty, but she is that deal. Like, she not one of them prissy women. My wife don't wear long nails and to wear, rubbing down the man's face and rubbing his back. That's not my wife. Like, a lot of days it feel like I'm with a man. My wife is not affectionate and like rubby and touchy. So for us, it's different. She'll take the trash out and she not offended by that. Where some women, I done seen so many women get so mad when I tell that story. But that might be why you single, if that's a deal breaker for you. Because that man might not be home when the trash go out. And we'll take the trash out. No man against that, but sometimes it just don't work out like that. But people will literally get hung up on that part of a relationship. And so with single men today, they're like, listen, it's not worth it. Like, it's not worth being, nagged on about the trash. It's not worth being nagged on about leaving the seat up. It's not worth being nagged on about picking a plate up, or picking some socks up, or picking some drawers up. And so they've fallen in love with their peace. They've fallen in love with their agency of being able to move and shake and do how they want to do. And they listening to the complaints of their homeboys, and marriage just is not sounding like a good deal. And then they seeing the other men who amass wealth and then got a divorce and have to lose 50%, like Michael Jordan and Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates. And they like, listen, I ain't even got that kind of money. I can't afford to lose my little 50%. And this one might wake up one day and feel like I'm not man enough for her because I don't fix stuff around the house. And guess what? I don't fix stuff around the house. We hire people off them apps to come fix stuff around the house. So for a lot of women, I ain't man enough. For a lot of women, I'm a sorry man. And those a lot of times be the women who single. Or it'd be the women with a man who cheating on them. And it's because of the minute things that really are not a big deal in the grand scheme of love. And so on the flip side, guess what? I don't require my wife to have sex with me a certain amount of times a week. If her schedule is away and she tired and she drained, it's times in marriage you may go 2 or 3 weeks without having sex because you have kids, and that's the way your life go. And when I want to have sex, she tired, and when she want to have sex, I'm tired. So you have to have a real, and this me sharing the real with you, because a lot of people who marry and don't have a real relationship and don't understand the dynamics of it, and think that, it just means something, that it means y'all don't love each other. No, I kill for my wife, she'll kill for me. That's why we still together going on 16 years. We love each other. I'd do anything for her. Like last night, I got off live to drive an hour to get her some food. 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back to get her some food at whatever time that was, 8 o'clock at night or whatever. And then got home, she didn't even eat the food because the man cooked it wrong. People cooked it wrong. Food wasn't even good. But I ain't care nothing about that. That's my wife. I do that 1,000 times over. But after going to get that food and her cleaning and all around the house, we ain't have sex last night. We got in bed, we talked, we watching the show together, we went to sleep. That's real love. It ain't about just sleeping together. Sleeping together is for having kids. And yes, for pleasure, but you don't need that to live and function and exist. And if you do, you need therapy because that means you got a sex addiction. So that's not a necessity of life. That's something we done made a necessity from being freaks, from being nasty. But in the grand scheme of things, when you get into a marriage that's going to work and that's going to last, you realize sex is a plus, not a priority. Yes, I want it real bad sometimes. And yes, my wife may want it bad sometimes. But that's going to be here and there. It ain't going to be no every day. It ain't going to be no every other day. And at the same time, because I love my wife too, if we don't have the time to make love, then a lot of times I don't want to do nothing because I don't want no quickie. I don't want no wham bam thank you ma'am because I see her as a queen. And I want to take my time. You see what I mean? So these the nuances of a relationship that most people don't talk about. Because when single people hear the real dynamic of a relationship, it shatters their fairy tale. I will repeat that. When single people hear the real dynamics of a relationship, it shatters their fairy tale. And that's why married couples don't often tell the inner workings, share the inner workings of their relationship, because we all know it is the complete opposite of what 90% of single people think a relationship looks like or should look like. So a single man will be shocked to hear that there was a time that I gave my wife $10,000 to $20,000 a month. There was a year that I gave her $10,000 to $20,000 a month to just shop, and I paid all the bills. That will blow a single man. He would be completely blown away and be like, "Are you crazy? Are you crazy?" Now I don't do that now, but it was just we had a good year. That was an exceptional year. And I saw I was able to do it. But then when things change and your bills change and you add bills and helping other family members, then you readjust. And my wife, she cool with it. She don't require that and say, "Oh, you got to keep doing that since you did that at one time." No. And if my wife told women, "Oh, my husband rarely take the trash out," they'd be like, "Oh, you ain't got no man." And if I told men, "Well, my wife rarely cook," "Oh, you ain't got no good woman." No, but this is the dynamics of our relationship, having two very active sons in multiple sports and living 40 minutes away from their school, and 40 minutes to an hour and a half away from their soccer practice. Our life gonna look different as it relates to love making and cooking and cleaning, because we not in no 5-10 minute radius to school and practice like a lot of people. If our sons went to public school, it's right behind our neighborhood. Yes, it would be 5 minutes. Our life will look totally different. But we got to drive 40 minutes to get our sons to school. You see what I'm saying? So I'm sharing this with you so you understand that it's a lot that go into a relationship, and this scares single men. This scares single men to just think like, wow, you mean to tell me I could earn $1 million and out of that million have to, if I have kids, that I may have to, out of that million, have a chef or a laundry person or a nanny and a house cleaner, and my wife will be a stay-at-home mom but also have a house cleaner and a nanny? That don't sound fair. If I'm working and making money, then she should be doing everything at the house. But guess what? That's not realistic. That's not the case of 7-figure families. Most 7-figure families have a nanny or a housekeeper. And so that's why you see so many men who make 7 figures single, because they like, I'm not finna do that. But yet it's a lot of men doing it. And I come from that cloth, the same thing. But when I looked around at all the white men who make what I make, they got a house cleaner and a nanny. And I'm like, well, darn, that was my wife running ragged. And that's why they wife looking fresh faced and putting that thing on them. Because when you, it's, oh, well, that's what, well, my grandma used to do this and do that. Yeah, your grandma lived in a 2-bedroom. In a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. When you got a 6-bedroom house, 5-6-bedroom house, and you got multiple kids playing multiple sports, and you got to drive 4 hours of the day, it's gonna look different. And see, this is what we're not understanding. And this is the breakdown. And it's affecting men and women. Because women can't believe that their man may work a job that requires him to travel every week for a couple days a week. And that them couple days may be the day that the trash goes out and she got to get trash juice on her finger to take that trash out. So that's going to keep her single. And vice versa. The man may be like, well, my kids gonna be practicing every day. Wife really ain't got time to cook. And then if she cleaning the whole house, so I can't expect my wife to clean. And then it ain't just bedrooms, you still got other rooms in your house. So if we got probably 10 different rooms, and so I can't expect my wife to clean all of that room. Cinderella ain't even have to do that. To clean all of them rooms. And then we go through about 12 outfits a day. Between the 4 of us, we use 2 to 3 outfits a day. From school, working out, practice, meetings, what have you. So I got this on today, right now. So I'm going to take this off and I'm going to put on another outfit to take my son to the game. So that's going to put me at 2 outfits. My son got his school outfit and then the game outfit. He 2 outfits. My wife got her school outfit. She got her workout outfit. And then she got her house clothes. That's 3 outfits. And so you look at it, 2, 4, 6 plus 3. That's 9 outfits in one day. 9 outfits. That's several clothing items. You got 2 socks in there. You got shorts, shirt, some undershirt, underwear in one outfit. So my wife doing all of that laundry and then cleaning 10 different rooms. That's more work than Cinderella had to do. And then I'm going to expect her to cook every day and then do the dishes. Well, no, you do the dishes. She don't want me to do the dishes. She don't like the way I do the dishes. She don't want me to do the laundry. She don't like the way I do the laundry. Because I got an alpha woman. If she want to do her work, she want to do it because she got a way she like to do it. Whereas there's certain women that be like, I cook, you wash dishes. Okay, it's still a little grease in the pan. All right, fine, we'll be okay. But you doing the dishes, or you doing the laundry, or you folding the laundry, or you putting the laundry up. My wife not like that. I'm married to an independent woman, so I'll step in and wash the dishes. She'll come and elbow me. Get out the way. Move out the way. Let me do it. Because you're going to do it wrong. I ain't going to like the way you do it. I'm going to have to do it all over. So listen, that's something, a concession I make. So what I do, I go get her something to eat. I go pick up the food. She don't necessarily like getting in the car to drive. I love getting in the car to drive. So when she want a coffee in the middle of the afternoon, I get in the car and go to Starbucks so that she can continue doing what she's doing at the house. Or last night she wanted something to eat, I get in the car and drive to go get that so that she can continue. She was doing my son's hair, combing his hair out, our baby boy, so she could continue to do what she doing. I get off my live where I'm working, ministering. I shut that down, go get something to eat, come back, and then I got back on the second live. We both making concessions. We both sacrificing, but it looks weird to the outside looking in. And don't put your opinion on what I need to do and what she need to do in the relationship, because we going on 16 years of marriage. That speaks for itself. And that's the thing, is everybody want to tell you how to make your relationship work. And that's another reason why so many single men staying single, because it's so much advice online telling them what to do, or telling the woman what to do, that the man is like, I'm gonna get in this relationship, and this relationship is not gonna be my own. This relationship gonna be Tony Gaskins 2.0 relationship, or this brother over here 2.0 relationship, or this podcast over here 2.0 relationship. It's not gonna be my relationship that I cultivate with my wife. It's gonna be a social media relationship, a TikTok relationship, a Reels relationship. And that's also what's keeping so many men single. And again, it's rooted in fear. And that same thing could be for women as well. But again, I'm not a woman. So if that's true for women, then y'all can attest to that. But I'm speaking from the male perspective. So this what we have. And this is why communication is paramount. This is why that if you are a woman watching this, when you meet a man, this is why you really have to be articulate, and you really have to communicate about life, about the world, about hopes and dreams and visions as you're building, as you talking, so that you come to an understanding that this is going to be us against the world. Like we're going to create what works for us, and we're going to make the necessary sacrifices that we need to make for this to work. Not we're going to do what Tony Gaskins and his wife do, or we're going to do what the bishop and his wife does, or we're going to do what this podcast suggested, or what this reel suggested. No, we're going to look at our dynamic, and we're going to look at our household and our finances and our family structure, and we're going to create our own blueprint. And the foundation will be love, trust, honesty, loyalty, respect. But everything else, our windows, our doors, our paint is going to look different than everybody else's, because this is us and not them. And that's what has to be understood, and that's not the case. We coming in with concrete mentality, and we are going into a power struggle, and neither is willing to give. And that's why singles staying single. So many singles staying single because of that reason. So, hey, listen to me. Think on this. Listen back to it. Get this in your spirit. I know I taught on a few other things, but if you know me and you got to this point, then you know how I do. I teach on a few things now. I'm going to teach on a few things in one video now. And then what I also want to do, and see, I'm going to tell you the truth, like, I wish I could share. I shared a bunch with you in this right here, and I wish I could share more, but I can't. Like, I wish I could share more, but I can't, because I'm a public figure, but my wife is not a public figure. You see what I mean? I'm a public figure, but my wife ain't a public figure, so I can't share all our business, because she's not a public figure, and so she don't necessarily want all our business in the street. She know what I share, and even what I share could be oversharing, but she also understands and respects the fact that I have to share to be transparent to accomplish the work that God has called me to do. And so it was the other day I had to block a lady because she was talking about when I shared the story of when my wife, what she said to me at the baseball game, and then what I said to her after the game. And the lady was talking about, if my partner did that, I would be this and that. And it's like, your man is not me. Your man not called to speak into the lives of millions of people about relationships and to be transparent. So this was a real interaction that we had, and be it good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, it is what it is. And that's what happened. And that's why I'm sharing it, because I'm a real one, and I'm going to share the real. Whether it make me look bad, or whether it make my wife look bad, or whether it make us look bad, I'm going to share it, because I'm called to prepare people for love and marriage and healthy relationships. So what you and your man who does construction or is a professor do, that's y'all, and that's different than what me and my wife have to do, being in this here limelight called by God to do what we are called to do for our family under God, it's going to look different. So y'all got to understand that when I'm transparent and don't get in your feelings for me or my wife about our business being in the streets, because this what come with it. This what come with it. And it's certain people that's called to that. But if you're not called to that, then don't compare your life to it. Get what's for you and leave the rest. See, that's a lesson right there. Hey, this Tony Gaskin. God bless you. Go ahead and end this since we just crossed another minute. 50 minutes. That ain't me. I was trying to go for 30 minutes, but you know how when it get to going now. Hey, if you got to this point now, remember, make sure you get over there to TonyGasAcademy.com, because I got the course at 50% off. And if you already got a course, then you got my email from today. What showed you that? I forgot to put the coupon code, but the coupon code is thankful, and that's gonna take another additional little blessing off of the 50% that is listed at. You put the coupon code thankful, no spaces, not case sensitive, just thankful, and then hit apply code, and you'll see another little blessing come off of there on TonyGasAcademy.com. Hey, we'll talk soon.